you ready to take your leadership journey to the next level? On the leadership platform TLP, we don't just talk about leadership, we live it. This year, we are bringing you cutting-edge insights, transformative tools, and real-world strategies to help you lead with confidence, purpose, and impact. This year, we have 4 seasons with 50 episodes. We will dive into themes such as leading self, leading others, and leading institutions. We bring you Leaders Are Leaders. This monthly session focuses on book reviews, discussions, encouraging all participants to read along with selected books on personal leadership and professional leadership. We also have a time with the CEO. In this segment, we dive into the stories of prominent CEOs who share their insights, lessons learned throughout their leadership journey. We also bring you extraordinary leadership stories, highlighting individuals in our societies who are doing extraordinary things. This segment inspires viewers with real-life examples of leadership in action. We will bring you some brilliant minds, courageous leaders changing the narrative of Africa. We also bring you finally the expert-led sessions, which cover a wide range of leadership and personal development topics, providing practical guidance and actionable strategies for personal and professional development. The leadership platform is your go-to space for personal growth, professional breakthroughs, and meaningful connections. I am Joy Bunsu-Schmutz, co-host on TLP, and I will see you every Saturday, 7 p.m. GMT, live on YouTube and Facebook.
Hello, hello, hello. Good evening, good afternoon, and good morning from wherever you're joining us. Today is Saturday, the 18th of October, and this is our first Live2Lead post session. So most of you were able to attend Live2Lead either in person or virtually. Those who did not, you are welcome to hear from our speakers today. But before that, I would love all of you who are joining us online to introduce yourselves and tell us where you're joining us from. I am going to be your host and co-host, Sarah Jessie Appiah, joining you from Geneva, Switzerland. And I'm so happy to be here with you. And as Sam, the host of this platform, always say, Saturday is our most best time because we get to connect with all of you. And Doris Arthur, thank you so much that even without prompting, you have already announced yourself saying, it's good to be here again, and thanks. Yes, we love having you, and we are happy you are a returning participant and audience. And I can see more things showing up, but I'm waiting for more people to introduce themselves so that we can be able to introduce you to the whole world wide. Great. As you all know, and as I said, we had Live2Lead on the 10th of October, where we had John Maxwell and a lot of speakers coming to share their experiences with us in how to build sustainable wealth. And for us to get a review, we have 2 great speakers who are here with us. We were participants in the person of Dr. Nana Ohene Asante K. Brempong. He is, of course, a Ghanaian polymath who identifies as a scholar, scientist, and government policy analyst. And then, secondly, we do have Emmanuel Adomako. He is a dedicated marketing and admissions professional with a strong academic foundation in economics, and he is currently working with Heritage Christian University. I will have them join me, and they will tell us a little bit more about themselves apart from what they do that I've just shared with you. So if I can have Emmanuel and Dr. Ohene join me, that will be awesome. Thank you. Welcome, Emmanuel, and welcome, Dr. Ohene.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much for having us.
So I believe this is the first time you are joining us on the leadership platform, and we are delighted and honored that you accepted our invitation. Thank you to you too.
You're
Great.
welcome.
Thank you. So to start off, I'll start with Dr. Ohene. Dr. Ohene, lead to lead. What does lead to lead mean to you? And how often have you participated at lead to lead events?
Thank you so much. A very good evening to all our viewers worldwide. And first of all, thank you to the team at the Leadership Forum and the CTL Africa. A very big thank you to Mr. Samuel Eyin Esquire and yourself, Madam Sarah. It's so much fantastic to get in touch with you. First of all,
Yeah.
let me start by mentioning that many people and sometimes a few people walk on the path of this earth and in their lives living on the surface of this universe they rewrite history. They become the very reason why things change. And along the line we've had one great man as a gift to this generation in the person of I like to address his eminence, John C. Maxwell. So I've had the privilege of following him for quite a long time. And when I heard that he's being the key person or the icon behind the Live to Lead initiative, I found it more than a home to go find knowledge, inspiration, wisdom, understanding, and also directive principles for growth and transformation in life. I've had the opportunity of participating in the two in-person events. I did one in the UK, and this year I've had the opportunity to also participate. That is exactly yesterday's week at the Charter Days of Bankers, Accra, Ghana. I think that Live to Lead is a place of opportunity, possibilities, and also growth and transformation for every aspiring leader and every person who aspires to be great in your journey in this world. Look at someone like John C. Maxwell. This great man has spent over 8 decades of his life putting himself through the troubles to learn, develop himself, and also study to share amazing resources, very priceless and invaluable. In fact, I think that participants attending the Live to Lead even get more than they subscribe for. And so for me, it is a place where in the coming years, from next year, 2026, I would pay for my staff and also people around me that I believe they play important role and they can make impact in the lives of others to also participate. I find it as a place of opportunity where once you dare to be different, you dare to be great, and you dare to grow, you ought to be there. It's a must, and it's not something that should be done as achieving credit, but rather a very fundamental action that must be taken once you ought to be great and you want to grow in life. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ohene. So, an opportunity to grow, an opportunity to really connect with others, and an opportunity for even Dr. Ohene to plan ahead for his staff to join us next year. Thank you so much. And I believe you should even be here facilitating instead of me because you really have a wealth to share. You've been following John C. Maxwell for a long time. Thank you for that. Okay, Emmanuel, let's hear from you. I believe this is your second time of also participating in Lead to Lead. So tell
Yeah.
us.
So thank you very much for the opportunity and good evening to your viewers. I've been part of Live to Lead twice. That is last year, 2024, and also this year. And I would say that Live to Lead is a place that if you want to be transformed as a leader, leading yourself and leading others, defining who you are, and also impacting others positively, then it's a place that you have to always be a partner, be a part of, and so that you can um, be impacted and also you can be redefined and reshape your thinking. As far as leadership is concerned, I've had the opportunity to learn a lot of lessons from Samuel, that is Mr. Samuel Kumiyayim. He happens to be my lecturer at the. I'm currently doing MA Christian Studies, and he took me through lessons in leadership. And I must say that it's a blessing to have him, and especially also bring on board renowned leadership coaches like John C. Maxwell and other partners on board to inspire us. So it's a place to develop, a place to be transformed, and a place to be inspired to impact others.
Beautiful. So I've heard the word transformation both from you and from Dr. Ohene. Great. And you did say to be refined. So let's see how you have all been refined, how you have been transformed. We'll start first with our national speakers, the Ghanaian speakers that we had. We started with part one, and then we followed it in the afternoon when we traveled all the way to Atlanta. So let's start with Ghana. Between the two of you, who would like to go first? I think the first time I asked Dr. Ohene, so this time I'll start with you, Emmanuel, if that is okay with you. So, what did you find interesting or what resonated with you during the first part of the day? Let's
I
start
think
first. Yeah, let's start first with the registration. We're going to Jenny before we come to the speakers. How
okay.
did you find the whole environment? Just give us a feel of what was going on for you when you
Sure.
entered the venue.
Yeah. So I was fortunate to be part of the team from Heritage Christian University, and so I was impressed when we got there from the registration. See, we did earlier registration at our end online one. So once we got there and we mentioned our names, everything was set. We just got our tag and we zoom in to have our breakfast and also go into the auditorium to connect with others and have impactful messages from renowned and experts speakers. So I must say the Live to Lead, the organization, the reception, the team did fantastic, and the reception was awesome, and I loved it.
Okay, shout out to the team at CTL for really
Sure, sure.
having a welcoming atmosphere. Let's hear from Dr. Ohene.
All right, thank you. So last week Friday it was really fantastic. In fact, I'll start with the protocol team. I just got down from my car and I realized a protocol officer just came for my diary. I was like, wow, that is fantastic. You guys are treating me like a diplomat. Of course, I'm a diplomat, but you know, they ushered me to the registration point. I just got my tag and I entered. I was like, hello, sir. Would you like to take some breakfast? I was like, wow, breakfast is the best food in the morning. So, it was really interesting. And look, the production team did well in the auditorium. Like I mentioned, I'm a trained diplomat, and in diplomacy, one of the things that we look to attract people and make conversations happen is events. So we have summitry and conventions. And if you know anything about events, when you enter into an event auditorium, you look at the production, the arrangement of seats, seating arrangement, ushering you to your seat and all of that, lighting system, sound. And I think that it was amazing. It was really fantastic. So you get to see that it is a very well planned and structured event. And whilst you're there, you have people helping you. I think I bought two books. I bought one book by John C. Maxwell, and I think that it's an amazing place that you have to be. We call something the avenues of influence. So these are avenues that when you show up, just by the people that you even meet. I met one lady. We had a very fantastic conversation way before the event started, and it's been great. It was really a great experience. I think we didn't just attend the conference; we also had a fantastic experience.
Excellent. Thank you. So, those of you who were not there, this is the feel, this is the experience that Dr. Ohene and Emmanuel are sharing with us. Great. So, I'm hoping you're taking notes. It's an experience, it's not an event. An experience. Thank you so much for that, Dr. Ohene. All right. So, now, Dr. Ohene, I'm coming back to you now. You start us off. We had two speakers for the morning event. How was it for you? Tell us, give us a feel of everything that you experienced.
All right, thank you. I would start with Dr. David Ofosu-Dorte Esquire. I think that he was a phenomenal, in fact, that gentleman is one of the greatest personalities of our time. He's not just your regular, usual lawyer and a business expert, but this man is very knowledgeable and wise man. From the introduction, we had two amazing MCs. We had Benjamin Owusu-Ansah and also Emmeline. Emmeline, I think she's one of the co-hosts of this year's edition. Right?
That's right.
Fantastic. Their introduction and for AB and David to get on stage. And he started by addressing us, the audience. I think that attending any high-level event and very well-structured event like this, one thing you look at is not only the people in the room, but your speaker, how well they've prepared the speaker and how on top he is on his issues. And I mean, we know AB and David is not your regular and usual lawyer, very well versed with information, his in-depth experience and knowledge, where he shared a brief of his background, where he came from, and coming from his father's house, entering into public service, and also making a decision that at a certain point in time in his life, he wanted to quit his job in the public service. I think he said he started as a transportation expert in the public service, and his boss telling him that, no, he's going to get a government bungalow. And he realized that, no, that is the very reason why he should resign, because he observed growing up his father, that his father was a public servant, he had a bungalow, but only for him to find out that after his father's retirement, everything, including the couches in their hall, is not for his father. So I'm sorry. I bet to compose myself. It's not for his father, but rather it was for government. And he realized that things has to be structured. So he now took his destiny into his hands and decided to champion the cause for himself. I think in the course of time, he mentioned that he left his father's house at the age of 17. And someone asked him that, what did he think and how did he have that idea? And he mentioned that whilst at the age of 12, between 12 to 16, he used to read a lot. And so he went to pick one of his father's book that had some, I think, exclusive or sexually explicit content. And he took it to school. The book got missing and all of that. And that, trying to cover up for that thing that had happened, he kept reading. He kept reading the books in his father's library. Then he chanced on a book by, I think, one of the greatest philosophers in history, Norman Vincent Peale. And through that book changed his life. He had a new worldview about how he sees himself and his surrounding. And I think one thing that he mentioned was that at that very point, it would have been not closer to him as a young person, as a young boy, to think that way. But he decided to make those things count in his life. And I found it so inspirational. I found it that, no, there is something here to take, very substantial, that a young boy, at 17, you say you were a boy, a young boy at that age, and reading to find such a material and trying to go deep into it. So I'm a lover of books. I like books a lot and all of that, but he has also enforced me. And now at this point, it's not just about me and even my contemporaries, but my nieces. I don't have kids yet, so my nieces, my nephews, and the younger people around me, trying to from now onwards, I will incorporate that into their lives. Maybe they can start as young as 12, decide to read some of these life transforming content and not just novels, and also personal development content at the preteen level. So I find his intro and his body very, very insightful, very full of wisdom. Yeah, very knowledgeable and resourceful. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ohene. And you did mention, I didn't read all your profile, but you are working with the youth. And I'm happy to see that you said you are going to inculcate this into the youth, the people, your nieces and your nephews. What about your work? This is your family. What about the work that you do with the youth? How is that
After,
going to help you? Yes.
thank you. For the past decade, I've had the opportunity of contributing to national youth activities. So, notable among was my instrumental role in the National Youth Policy 2022-2030. And that was during the previous government, His Excellency President Akufo-Addo's administration, and the Honorable Mustafa Yusuf. And one thing that I realized is that it's not just about the education we give to our youth, and it's not just about introducing them to consume materials through erudition, but rather giving them life transforming content, and have become so intentional at this very point in time. I counsel young people. I read youth psychology. So I read how to counsel young people, how to try to understand things from their perspective, the way they think, sometimes thinking that they are not listened to by the upper generation and all of that. And I personally think that contents from initiatives like Live to Lead are things that we should incorporate into our national youth development strategies and conversations. So I am a product of this book by John C. Maxwell. In fact, I always have copies with me. The 15
15
laws of
laws.
growth.
Yeah.
Law number 1, intentionality.
That's right.
I think that it is time for us to make our young people very intentional in life. We teach them certain principles. There is a book I read about 20 things not to do in your 20s. Then there's another book called 20 things to do in your 20s. And one of the books talks about something that this great Ghanaian personality, Uncle Ebo White of Roverman Production, has been mentioning. 60 things, 10 things you regret in your 60s. And he mentioned young people think they have all the time in this world. In your 20s, you think you have all the times. In fact, if I would just make reference, just last 3 days I was in my 20s. Now I've begun my 30s journey. I'm on the 3rd floor, and you see, it's so much of a surprise. When you're in the university, you think that you have all the time, and that is the intentionality of time. You must understand the time you have. That look, times and season happens, but
That's
your
right.
ability to leverage on any season in life will determine how relevant and significant you become. And I make reference to the Bible. The Bible says it in Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 1. It mentioned the time to be born, the time to die, the time to sow, the time to reap, the time to plant, the time to harvest. Mentioned almost all the series of activities that happens in the lifetime of a man. And now connecting to one important factor, time. And if you even go back to Chronicle, it says that see the children of Isaac. They were
Today,
the sons.
you are really preaching to us. Oh.
Oh, no. Anyways, so I make reference to these things whenever I'm saying things regarding the youth, that they were the men that were gifted with the wisdom and the power of understanding to know times and seasons. And I think that from your youthful age, if you know where you are, that you have to prepare yourself, make use of that particular period of time. 10 years will come right now, between 20 and 30, it will come right now. By the time you realize 3 months will be like 3 days. and 3 days is like 3 hours. So I personally would take this upon myself and also make more time to connect young people to these contents, and also lawyer Ayim, and how he can also help us transform and shape their mindset. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ohene. And you did really say intention, and the intention that lawyer Dote really started off in his youth is what has brought you to this realization, or even underpinned what you want to do for the youth. Thank you so much for that. And let's now move on to Emmanuel. Emmanuel, tell us, what was your first impressions? What resonated with you during lawyer Dotes, our learned friend? That's what he shared with
Yeah.
us.
So once again, thank you. Doc has said a lot, and I also picked a lot of lessons from the delivery from Dr. David Ofosu. In fact, he actually inspired and challenged my thinking. From his presentation, he made it known to us that if you look at Maslow's theory of need, you see, we've agreed to this need right from childhood in our education system, starting from basic needs all the way to self-actualization. But it was shocking to hear from him, shocking and interesting to hear from him that he places happiness and also love at the top. And I was like, wow. So, so at that point, I kept on thinking that, well, we shouldn't just accept theories because they are theories that have been proposed over the years, but we can look into it, challenge it in a positive way, and add things that will help us. Because he also talked about the fact that we should look at wealth in a different way, not only about money, but also looking at happiness, because somebody can be wealthy and the person will not be happy because of one or two reasons, but we neglect happiness and always point to money as the source of success. And so all these things challenged and inspired me to have a different mindset. So just connecting to what I said earlier, that's why I said Live to Lead helps you to re-engineer your mindset, and also just refocus your attention to things that will help you grow. Other things that I also learned, that he also challenged us to avoid certain things in life. That is the temptation to be wealthy at all cost, because he cited an example that he had to reject a huge sum of amount at a point that he was actually in need to complete his office space. I think he mentioned about $20,000. That is a huge sum of money for somebody to be able to reject in the name of being disciplined. So these are things that have challenged and also inspired me, that in my journey as a young leader, somebody imparting students, because I am admissions officer at Heritage Christian University. We have a lot of students coming in with different results. Some are willing to give you something for you to admit them, but the point is we point them back to doing the right thing. I just remember this ended admission. A gentleman called me and said he has told the guardian that he has paid a certain amount of the fees. Meanwhile, he had not paid that amount. So I just drew his attention to the fact that once you start with a lie, you have to always tell multiple lies to cover up only one lie. Just be yourself and don't be a slave to lies. So we are in a position that we have the privilege to impact the thinking and also the behavior of the young ones. And it's a privilege to be in this position. And I must say that being part of Live to Lead 2025 shaped my thinking, and it has inspired me to do things in a different way. Other thing that he mentioned that we should try to avoid is having the temptation to amass wealth to benefit ourselves alone. And we see this to be, whatever you are having, you should think about others. So you shouldn't be self-centered and think about yourself alone, but you have to think about others. And one thing that I'm learning from that, as a team member, as a leader within my organization, I'm going to implement is not being pompous. He said, like Africans or Ghanaians, we are too pompous. We think we know too much. When we have something, we want to be on top. But I learned through his delivery that to be a greater person, you have to be humble, you have to calm down, to show empathy, understand others, and also help them to also grow to your level and even beyond your level. That is the only way you can make impact. And finally, one thing that also touched me is when he said we shouldn't confuse wealth with greed. We shouldn't confuse wealth with greed. And so it was an amazing delivery and amazing experience. And I will conclude that I was inspired and challenged to do things in a different way. Thank you.
Wow, wow. Those of you, Awofia just says, we missed a lot. Indeed, you missed a lot. This is just one speaker. You missed a lot. So let's hear from you, those of you who were there. Let's see what are your takeaways and what things you're doing differently, just like Emmanuel and Dr. Ohene are doing. Please put your comments in the chat box. Thank you so much. So this is a lot. This is just one speaker. Let's move on to Dr. Nora Bannerman Abbott, the only lady from the Ghana side. Let's see. What did you take away? What were your impressions? And then we also had the chairperson of the ECOWAS. So let's see. Let's hear. Which one was your best speaker? What really resonated apart from Dr. Ufosudote? Who would like to go? This one, I'm not calling on any, I won't volunteer any name. So please, just let's go, Ohene.
Oh, wow. Thank you. Thank you. Dr. Nora, I got to know her when she became a board member of GIPC. And there was one time I attended an event. She was a keynote speaker. I was like, wow, some people are working institutions. Their whole establishment on their own. And I think that personalities like that, their thoughts, their thinking, their speeches have to be immortalized because these are people that shapes the minds of generations. And I think their initiatives would live way after our next 2, 3 generations. First thing, you would realize that she comes from a very humble beginnings in business and entrepreneurship, specifically from the fashion industry. And one thing that on top of mind, I left there with is the fact that it got to a point in time where she could walk into the presidency without having any appointment with the then military head of state, the PNDC chairman, His Excellency Jerry Rawlings, who later became the president of Ghana, and tell the security officer that she has appointment with the head of state. And they will go tell the head of state, and he'll be like, who is this lady? And per the description they will give him, he was also wondering because he doesn't control his schedule himself. So they will allow her in. And one thing she mentioned is when she went to tell him, look, Ghana has had the opportunity to export our product to the United States, and we need support. And so the president was sitting there and looking at her cool, quietly, and he was like, so what does she need? She mentioned the support she needs. The banks are not ready to give her and all of that. So she was advised to go to Agricultural Development Bank and had some support and some advice from the Ministry of Finance and all of that. And later on, she paid the amount of money that was loaned her way before the deadline she told the bank she would pay. I find that worthy of sharing. In fact, speaking as a consultant, I'm not just a government policy analyst or alone. I don't do that only. I also work with a group of businesses, work with a group of scholars and experts in how business systems are run and how we can help enterprises succeed. And one of the things that I think businesses need is the quality of information and also building the courage and also the effort to let me say, they must have guts, the effrontery, because driving to office of the president, Jubilee House at that time, maybe Flaster House they may call. I think even during President Rawlings' administration, it was even Osu Castle. It's
Yeah.
not easy. It was a military administration. And this woman had that level of courage. I think she's an icon. She's a symbol that the young ladies, if not for the entire gender groups, the young ladies can learn from. And I want to emphasize and stress on that here, that sometimes as SMEs, business leaders or founders and startups, you need that effrontery. You need to show that courage. The next thing she mentioned was a time where she went into a basic school during mentorship and outreach session, and she asked them what would they want to do when they grow up. And some people were mentioning, I want to be a lawyer, I want to be a doctor, engineer. So she couldn't have any better way of explaining to them that you can do other things that are the non-traditional white collar careers. So she just took them out and see, have you seen that nice car there? That's mine. And I bought that car by making clothes. And I found it so interesting because and the kids were overwhelmed. They were surprised, pleasingly surprised. Oh, wow, it's yours and you make clothes. And, in our local parlance, we say that, Opama, dear, you understand, to our global audience, she's a seamstress. And the way we have branded being a seamstress or a tailor or a dressmaker in this Ghanaian contest or African contest, it's not really attractive. But I think Madam Nora has been a pioneer in trying to industrialize the field of fashion. And ever since I encountered her at GIPC, I've started paying attention to her company, the Sleek Garment Group. And I think that she's doing fantastic. On the side of wealth creation, she mentioned something very profound. And I think before they came to the Q&A, she really substantiated it to the realities of life. She said that her daughter went to school, learned banking, and she started working with a bank, Cow Bank. And later on, she had a discussion with her and she joined the company, she joined the business, and she started adding values to the company. And she started telling her, Mommy, you've forgotten now, you are not the only person in charge. And she's also been telling her how things has to be done. I think that is a story of how sometimes the upper generation or the older generation has to give the younger ones the opportunity to learn and to be able to execute the ideas and their perspectives. And so I think in all, she was trying to say that her daughter brought a new perspective to the business and she's doing well. And now she's been able to poach her, keep her, and she's doing fantastically well and all of that. They have good relationship in running the business. I think that relating it with the story of young people and our upper generation, sometimes we have to be listened to, and we also have to be shown the understanding of the fact that our views matters. But we working under the guidance and the direction of the experienced people. I like to reference Apostle Joshua Selman in matters like this. He said that the older people have experience, they don't have time. The young people have time, but they don't have the wisdom to maximize the time. But when God wants to help people, He maximizes experience with time. And so, for me, for instance, Auntie, finding you working and having this conversation with Auntie Sarah is a great is a great opportunity and great privilege. Look at me right now, you understand? And so I will have something to share with the younger generation. If you look at Dr. Ofosu-Dorothy like this, I'm sure he is in his 60s, and Madam Nora is also in his 60s, in her 60s, and Lawyer Ayim is also in his late 50s, I may think so. And so I think that this is an opportunity where we can observe you, we can learn from you, and even maybe pick a book and pen and write things that you did that you would not want us to do, so that going forward, we would use it to guide our life. Madam Nora, I have shared a lot of things about her on my start and other platforms that I've spoken to the young people ever since I encountered her at the GIPC. And Dr. Ajekun Donko, that man, I met him in 2023 Africa Prosperity Dialogues, and he came to speak shortly before he left. Since that time, I went to sign up for a chartered economics class. The man is a whole university on his own. That man knows a lot. And so I wasn't surprised listening to him and hearing him say the things that he had been able to transform the ECOWAS Bank for Investment and Development from the time he took over as the president and the board chair. Because I think that one thing about leadership is you must leave a mark, indelible one as that, and to the point where it will become so iconic and so symbolic of your name that it was during this man's administration that we did this. And with the little knowledge and understanding I've had in the field of economics about rating agencies and all of that, most of the things that he was mentioning, I had the opportunity of reading through some of the things. And I think that for a person to lead a bank at that level, a multilateral bank representing the entire West African sub-region, and being able to attain that level of positive rating and credit rating and all of that by Fitch and Moody's and top international banks, it really shows a leader who is so hardworking. And most of the things that he says, I think it affirms the work he has done. So these are my few thoughts. I know it might not be enough, but these are what I find very interesting about the two speakers. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. This is getting interesting. And what's agronorosone azisurisa, right? We have been talking for almost 45 minutes, and we still got the international speakers. So let's see. I can see Conrad here. I'm just trying to intersperse the comments that are coming from the audience. Conrad says he missed this year's edition. Good to see that his colleague, Emmanuel Adomako, is on the review panel. So Emmanuel, since Conrad was not with us, Conrad used to be one of our MCs. Since he wasn't with us, let's move now into the international sector. Who was your number one speaker? And let's see what you have to share with him so that you will whet his appetite so we can do a rebroadcast for him.
Sure. So, Conrad, welcome on the line. It was amazing to listen to the international speakers. They all were fantastic, and I loved the information that they shared. But what inspired me, and in fact, it was entertaining as well, is Jesse Cole's presentation. Even how he entered the auditorium, the energy and the vibe that he came with. I was like, who is this man? He looked happy, and he knew what he wanted to do. And when he came around, he made us do a lot of aerobics. He in fact energized the audience. And at my table, we also that he challenged us to do, and I really. But beyond all these things that I've said, I think some of the ideas that he shared, his main focus was about appealing to your fans, making them happy, being customer centric, and also making sure that you offer value to your customers, giving them good feedback. I think he talked about some ease. He talked about eliminating friction if you want to give the best experience to your fans or your customers. In his case, because it's a football team, or let me say baseball team, he was talking about the fans, but in our context, we can also interchangeably talk about customers. So when we are able to eliminate friction among the staff, among team members, we work freely and we work as a happy team, and we always stand in for one another, and we can deliver to make our customers happy, for them to always be part of us. He also mentioned about experience constantly, like experiencing what you are doing all the time. And I learned a lot of lessons from what he said, and how he even did a presentation. It's not the usual way that we know a presenter standing, and he was making us sing, move around, and I love that. And I think I'm going to incorporate that in my work as well, because I also move all over the country to inspire SHS graduates, we invite them for a program that we do at Heritage called the SHS Career Mentorship. So we have time to engage them, and also coach them, inspire them about making career the right career choice as they prepare for tertiary education. I think this is something that I also incorporate in my presentation time so that the audience will be energized and will be happy. And he also mentioned the fact that you should engage deeply. You should engage deeply, whether your fans, whether your customers, your team, because once you engage them, that is how come you can discover their feelings, you get their feedback, and also you get to know whether you are on point, you are delivering the best service. And he mentioned one thing, rehearsal. He said it before they go out to play, they actually added dance to their main event, which made the customers connect more with them. They out of that they had a lot of fans coming to cheer them in the stadium and other things. I think he said they practiced all the time. They practice all the time. So whenever you see them doing something out there, then you know that the behind the scene a lot of work has gone, yeah, in. And that is what I want to also add to what I do. Mostly we seem to be okay with what we have and we think we know. So we don't want to practice. And so practice is going to be part of me. And I enjoyed all the insight that was shared and I loved it. I can't wait to participate in the next edition, that is next year. So yeah, so thank you.
Awesome, awesome. You know, this is, I don't know what to say. I'm just reliving what we experienced last Friday. Those of us online, I was online, I wasn't in person, and we experienced the same. The same. We were not on the ground, but we experienced the same. Just for me to represent those who were online as well. Okay. I'm just looking at the time, and I don't know whether we stop here so that you people can just have a drink to lubricate your throats, and then we'll come back. Gideon, would you have any commercial break for us? If not, we can continue. Let us know. All right. I'm counting 1, 2, 3, and Gideon is not coming. So let's roll. Okay, wonderful. I guess I will, before I do so, let's give just a little review of what you have shared, especially when it comes to Nora and the mentorship and the sharing. One thing that I took away from her was really the sharing, that she said she shared anywhere. And even information when he went to the castle, which Dr. Ohene shared with us, went to the castle and got that information. He shared that information with the people in the network of SMEs. And Dr. Ohene, you were saying that you will like us, the adults or the senior citizens, I wouldn't say the adults, the senior citizens, to share with you. And this is what this platform is all about, sharing with all generations, and it's intergenerational. That's why we have you people here. And to our viewers who are on the call, please share whatever you are hearing from here with your team, with your friends, with your family, so that they can also learn, because sharing is caring, and caring is loving. And loving, when you love, it will create the happiness that Dr. Ofosu was sharing with us. Okay, so let me come back to you, Dr. Ohene. Your part, your takeaways from the internationals before we round up.
My takeaway will be Tiffany Bova and the man in his flesh. I call him the man of enchanting physiognomy with many degrees and characters. John C. Maxwell, a generational gift. Tiffany talked about stretching your muscles. And One thing that I observed in one word sometimes is not about where you find yourself, it's about where you want to be. And you have to stretch your confidence muscle. You have to be able to go beyond the norm. I think many of us, at a certain point in time, we find ourselves in an environment where we are not able to rehearse and also build ourselves to go out. And that's where I found what she shared very useful. Personally, not to me, but to anybody that I will encounter, I will share that you have to be able to stretch yourself beyond the limitations. And that's what she spoke about. For John Maxwell, he came back and asked, I hope I have transformed you, I've added value to you. And he was so emotional. I was like, wow, this old man, may God bless you so much. And I find his ACT framework very, very powerful. What have you been able to acquire over there that you are going to apply? What are you going to change? And what are you going to teach? And I remember he mentioned series of things. Then he asked, is it the best that I can have? The best answer I can have? Is that the best I can do? And how can I improve it? I think that if you're able to use these frameworks day in, day out, apply it to your life, share it with people, and be able to change whatever you have been doing for the better, it is going to transform and for you to grow. And for people like John C. Maxwell, look, I'm a theologian, though. I have learned a little things about theology and all of that. And I believe that if we do believe in Jesus Christ, He's our Lord and personal Savior and all of that, and we didn't get to see Him, we've not heard His voice before, but we believe in Him, and we've seen a person like John C. Maxwell in our time. I think it's a great opportunity for us to pay attention to such a personality. And anything he says is not just out of his daily teaching, it's out of experience. The man is over 80 years, I think. And 80 years,
Yeah.
please, am I correct?
He's getting to 80. He's in his
He's
late.
getting to 80. So that means he spent 8 solid decades. Even me that I just entered my third floor, I feel I'm someone. I'm somebody. How much more someone who is 8 decades on this planet? And I think he's a generational gift to us because most of his books that I've read have transformed the way I do things, the way I approach life, and it has changed my worldview. So these are my few thoughts. And look, I think that Live to Lead is something that should be broadcast around the world. It should be shared for at least any young person and also the working class, the corporate community, people who aspire to grow as fast as possible and as effective as possible should be part of Live to Lead year in, year out for them to transform themselves. Thank you so much.
Thank you, thank you. And just as Dr. Ohene has said, we are still in the Leave to Lead season. Leave to Lead season continues until the end of next year, February. So in your corporate offices, HR professionals, CEOs, team leaders, we are still able to broadcast Leave to Lead. So contact CTL. Gideon will share where you can reach us, and we'll be happy to come into your organizations, whether you're senior team, whether you're middle management team, to really rebroadcast what we have learned. But I will just go now to the table talks. The table talks, we had Mr. Mante joining us all the way from the US. Tell us your experience about it, Emmanuel. Were you in the room when Dr. Mate joined us?
Yes, I was
Okay,
there, and
all
I
right.
think
Tell us.
that was the first time I was also challenged to think about multiple streams of income. So the first question was, I think we were asked how many streams we have, and on my table, I think we shared the highest was 4, some were on 1, some on 2, 3. Then we try to discuss ways that we can improve it to 8. So moving from 1 to 8, that is a huge job, but we're inspired through the Live to Lead, the sessions that we had. And I believe that to be financially independent, I think you have to think about having a lot of that is multiple streams of income. And I think when I counted mine, I was around 3 or 4. I had not paid attention to that. And so through Live to Lead, I think I paid attention, and now I'm conscious about it. I want to grow my streams of income beyond what I am on now to 8. And I know it's a huge challenge, but we were encouraged that once you set your mind on it and you become intentional, you can do it. And he also challenged us to join his sessions and also read books about that, so we can increase or grow our streams of income. So I was inspired. In fact, though I'm working hard, I'm doing a lot of things, but intentionally, I didn't have any plan to generate multiple streams of income. So that was a reminder and also a wake-up call through Live to Lead. And I'm recommending Live to Lead to all those who are watching us. If this is the first time you are hearing about it, I think it's a high time you follow the sessions every Saturday and also yearly, the program that Live to Lead all that is organized, so that you can also get to challenge yourself with ideas, new ideas, meet new people, connect with others. I think I had opportunity to connect with those who were sitting on my table, and I reached out to one woman. I think she is Eunice or Jifa. Jifa. Recently, I reached out to her through WhatsApp, and interestingly, she showed interest to come to Heritage and do some part-time teaching. I also introduced my business, which is Tom Brown, to her, and she's also happy to hear about that. So it was a time to connect, a time to learn, and also a time to challenge our thoughts and our mindset. Thank you.
Wonderful. Now we have the man himself here, the Ghana John C. Maxwell, who is Samiyim. Sam, you've been listening to us in the background. I know
I
you.
was I was enjoying so much. I was wondering whether I was in the room.
Okay, so tell us what you heard and what has resonated so far.
Oh no, man! It's just amazing the way Dr. Ohene and Emmanuel have brought to life, what we lived at Live to Lead last week, and it's amazing the insights that they have brought. I think it's great, and for those who were not there, if you're not scratching your head and hitting your head against the wall, then I don't know what else is in that your head, and making the decision to join us next time. But more important, also in the immediate, the people who are interested can also have the experience of Live to Lead. If you joined a Live to Lead, you can pay just 200 Ghana cedis, and you can have access to the whole experience again for another 5 days. If you were not in the room because you were not originally registered, if you pay 500 Ghana cedis, which people have paid 2,000 and so on, 2005. If you pay 500, that would also enable you to be registered on the Leader Pass, because it's not just a recording, it's not a Zoom, it's a special platform where you get all the resources for 5 days running. So I just wanted to add that and wanted to thank Emmanuel and Dr. Ohene for the amazing contributions, insights that they have gleaned from the speaker. We haven't even finished it. They've just done, I think, 2 or 3, 4 speakers. Yeah. So for those of you we had several amazing speakers. So you want to be able to go listen to them again and again, and take your notes and be able to prepare yourself also for next year. So that's what I wanted to add. But Sarah, thank you for your great questions that has enabled our two gentlemen to be able to come up with a lot of ideas of what they enjoyed at Live to Lead. Thank you so very much. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. And for our audience, you have the contact phone numbers where by WhatsApp that you can reach CTL Africa and the leadership platform if you want to register and to relive the experience that all of us here on the platform have shared with you today. And I just love the fact that already Dr. Ohene did speak about Tiffany asking us to stretch our muscles. And I heard from Emmanuel how he's going to stretch himself when it comes to building his income stream, multiple incomes of stream. And also the fact that we have shared with you, I believe you, the audience, let's hear what you have taken away, what you're going to apply from these beautiful gentlemen who have shared with us, what you're going to change, and what you're going to teach. So please, let's see some comments in there, what you're taking away. And once again, to say a big thank you to the CTL team for the whole experience that they put together. And of course, everything rises and falls on leadership. To Mr. Aim getting us the co-host together and leading us to come to you once again with a great experience of Live to Lead 2025. So, Sam, that's from me. I want to give the floor to the two speakers to give us
Absolutely.
to give us their dessert from
Yes.
experience.
And for the others listening, we're going to come your way in the next few weeks with other people who are in the room to also share. So you see, just seeing a snapshot from the two gentlemen, you're going to have other dimensions. So don't miss the leadership platform going forward. It will not replace you being in the room or even getting the whole experience, which you have opportunity. But stay tuned to the leadership platform. We're going to bring you other participants with their perspective. But sure, Sarah, these gentlemen have been great, and I would like to hear their final desserts.
Yes.
I can't wait.
Over to you, Dr. Ohene, and then Emmanuel will finish us off.
I would have said, why me? Thank you so much. Castle, it's a great opportunity for you to give us this privilege to share our thoughts. I hope and I know that we are not the only participant in the room, but it's an opportunity you've given us. According to Dr. Mike Murdoch, the greatest thing in life is a conversation. Conversation with yourself, conversation with God, and conversation with others. And so for him, great things are revealed when good men or great men have conversations. Hello, please, can you hear me? I can see only myself on the screen. Hello?
Yes, I can hear you.
We can hear you.
Thank you.
Krishna. Yes.
So he continues to mention that reason and intellectuality may answer questions excellently, but it takes wisdom and imagination to ask the right question. And so, Madam Sarah, you've been a fantastic moderator and host. It's been great. And with my co-speaker or my co-panelist, Bro Charlie, you've been fantastic, man. You've been great, solid. And I like your thoughts and going about leadership and university. I think that the most important thing, and so get wisdom, if get understanding. For you to the insight of men and be able to understand thoughts and thinking very well is something that you can never pay for in any way, in any currency. So lead 2025 look, the Q&A session, myself, I was part of the troubling questionnaires, people that ask questions and all of that, and other participants, some of the top questions they asked, very insightful, and the answer that it brought is something that you cannot escape. And once you intend to grow and to transform your leadership journey, you ought to be there. It's a must, but not a credit. So I share this with our cherished viewers and participants that next year, Live to Lead 2026, please be there. Come and see me. And be there, come see lawyer Ayim. I'm sure Madam Sarah will be there too. And I know my brother Emmanuel is also going to be there. It's an experience, like I keep mentioning, it's an experience attended. Amazing people that we met, top connections. I met some gentlemen and some ladies from Ghana. Very fantastic conversation we had and all of that. And some people from EcoBank and all. And the Village of Hope people, look, I was really inspired by what they are doing. It was later when I got to know that Village of Hope have produced one fantastic human being for Ghana who is now a legislator in Parliament, Honorable Francis Susu, MP for Madina. And I'm like, these people are doing fantastic work. Where will you even have heard about it? For me, it's Live to Lead and lawyer Yim. I don't know how this man does his work, but he would manage to get people from all walks of life for you to sit under the same roof with. This man is a great man. So, Council, please, it's a great privilege. Thank you so much. I salute you, sir. And all the amazing team, the crew that put the entire team together, the production team. I really appreciate their work. And once again, I thank you for the opportunity you've given me to share a few thoughts with you here. To our viewers, please take everything we are saying serious, because for me personally, I've been transformed. And so go learn more about the people we've mentioned, and I think your life is going to transform. You're going to
Hello, can you hear me?
Emmanuel, go ahead.
All right, so thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity to share on this platform. Thank you very much, CTL Africa. Thank you very much, Madam Sarah, and thank you, the team, for the good work that you have done. It's an honor to be on this platform to share the experience that I had uh, from Live to Lead 2025. In fact, everything, as we all know, falls on leadership. For you to have a good home, for you to have a good team at workplace, church, and wherever you find yourself, leadership plays a key role. And so we have to be intentional to invest in leadership training. And I think Live to Lead offers us that opportunity to come learn and also unlearn and relearn. So anytime you see or hear about the opportunity to learn, I think we all, together with the audience, the viewers, wherever you are, make it a point to join. Before I conclude, I want to read a quote, something that John C. Maxwell has shared on LinkedIn about 6 days ago. And it reads, so I'm reading his quote. He said, instead of trying to be great, be a part of something greater than yourself. And I think Live to Lead is that platform that will give you that avenue, that opportunity to be part of something that is greater than yourself, that will help to inspire you to always work with your team so that you can be greater than yourself. Thank you for the opportunity.
Okay, thank you, Emmanuel and Dr. Ohene. It's been great having you on the platform today, and we are wrapping off our session for today. And in so doing, I just want to once again acknowledge my CTL team, our co-host, Dr. Yao Pedi, Reverend Doris Ahiati, our MC and also co-host, Emilien Date, and myself, but most of all, Samuel Eyim, for organizing us to come together to co-sponsor this event. It's been great for all of you participants and viewers who are on the call. We want to say thank you, because without you, we wouldn't have been able to have this conversation. So until next week, when we'll bring you other participants to share their insights from Live2Lead, we are signing off for this evening. Thank you, and see you next Saturday. Bye-bye.
Good morning once again to you all, distinguished leaders, invited guests, speakers, and participants. On behalf of the Governing Council of Chartered Institute of Bankers Ghana, and on behalf of our CEO, it is my great pleasure to welcome you all to the Live2Lead Ghana 2025 experience.
Live2Lead is a John C. Maxwell event, and today across 300 plus locations, people are all hosting Live2Lead. And this is hosted by John Maxwell Leadership Coaches. And here in Ghana, I have my colleagues who have joined together to bring you Live2Lead.
We have a lot of skills, talents, business ideas that can be taken from level to level, that can help transform lives, that can help transform our economy. We have opportunity. We are a wealthy nation.
As you create wealth that you seek to sustain it, remember that the sustenance cannot go beyond you when you enter the grave. You came naked and you built the world for your life like Adam. And you live naked. And as you live, remember that you hand over a well-tilled garden of Eden.
And by the way, if you haven't subscribed to our channel, do that now.